Hello, good morning. It is Morning Coffee with Steve, episode 218 for Wednesday, November 13th, 2024. I'm Steve Saylor. This is your daily show of gaming news, accessibility news, or updates about my life. I have iced coffee from McDonald's today. Yeah. Well, actually, it's all right. It's good to drink coffee, but not exactly the best, the best that I've had before, from McDonald's specifically. However, this episode is coming in late because man, oh man, apparently I needed to sleep last night. I barely I kept waking up throughout the middle of the night, and my alarm and I went to bed at actually a decent time because I was like, I'm kind of tired. I don't really necessarily need to go to bed right away, but I was like, I wanted to wake up early again to kind of get back in that routine. And my alarm went off this morning, and I'd woken up 2 hours earlier. And I was just like, oh man, I just did. Anyway, hold on, I got a cough. Sorry about that. Excuse me. Sorry. So I was like, I just decided, I'm gonna sleep in, and I just kept sleeping in for I woke up, an hour's gone by. Oh, another hour's gone by. Another hour's gone by. By the time I got up and running for the day, it was around 10 a.m., which is normally when I post these episodes. So sorry about that. It is still morning coffee with Steve because it is still morning for me. There we go. Anywho, I'm trying to get back into the swing of things again. It's when you travel for so much, and then it's trying to get back into a regular routine. I forgot kind of what my regular routine kind of really is. So I don't know, it's one of those. I'm just okay. I'm trying my best. All right, let us jump into today's stories, because apparently there's quite a few that kind of happened. I think I need to wake up put these episodes a little bit later, because some of the news kind of broke a little bit this morning, and there's some pretty good stuff. First up, we got a Metacritic roundup of the LEGO Horizon Adventure reviews. I'm going to go through a few of these and talk about them a little bit. Basically, Metacritic overall is giving this game a 70. Let's take a look here. Pretty much, the PC version is and the Nintendo Switch version is still being worked on, but I guess it's pretty much everyone played it on the PS5. Let's see, PC. Actually, I thought it was PC Gamer, but it's not. IGN gives it a 70, so 7 out of 10. LEGO Horizon Adventures reimagines Horizon Zero Dawn with a playful LEGO twist, simplifying the story while keeping the heart of its key moments and characters. All right, not bad. Eurogamer gives it a 40. Too simple and childish for adults, and too one note to convert the kids. LEGO Horizon Adventures does little to recommend it to either existing Horizon fans or series newcomers. You know what's weird about Eurogamer? Not to put any shade on them, but they are very cynical a lot lately. And including that stupid thing about Sweet Baby. I'm not going to get into it, but I think you understand. Let's see, who else? CJ Magazine, friend of the show, without which literally this channel would not have started, is at an 80. Goofy in tone and regulated in design, LEGO Horizon Adventures is an unlikely and amusing inversion of a modern classic made accessible for a new audience. I would probably say this is probably more approachable than necessarily accessible, but that's their words, not mine. Let's see, who else? We got VGC giving it an 80. LEGO Horizon Adventures won't top any Game of the Year list, but it's an enjoyable retelling of Aloy's first story mixed with witty LEGO movie-style writing and gameplay that will entertain the whole family. Let's see, who else we got here? I'm trying to look for GameSpot, because very curious to see what they got. So we already went over IGN. GameSpot, here we go. They also give it a 70. Its story reshapes an adult plot for a younger audience seamlessly with a strong sense of humor that kids will adore. Like a lot of content aimed at families, my strongest sense of joy is found not in how I experience LEGO Horizon, but in watching my kids become immersed in it. Levels often feel repetitive, but combat is exciting and tactical enough to teach depth and ask players to consider their approach. Even as Aloy may be dressed up like a corn cob, now firefight. Oh yeah, that's right. Even as Aloy may be dressed up like a corn cob or a firefighter or a pug, it's that blend of childlike style and mechanical substance that makes LEGO Horizon Adventures a lovely game to play for parent and child pairings. Though it's also just neat to see these usually serious characters put through a washing machine loaded with crayons. And I think that's kind of fair. I mean, I will. So I did only just get a review copy, like literally this morning. So I haven't had a chance to be able to play it fully. But I did play it like basically a good solid 90 minutes of it recently at the PlayStation offices. If you haven't checked out that video, I'll put a link to it in the show notes or in the description down below. But I agree with a lot of the sentiments there. It is very much a kids' first Horizon adventure. Like I think it is a pretty much a kids like it's a kids retelling, or it's a short retelling or a adaptation of Horizon Zero Dawn. It's with the same characters, with the same story, but done in kind of like the Lego humor kind of way. And I think that's honestly, I think that's great. I think I knew it wasn't going to hit for all audiences. I knew it wasn't going to really be like a compelling game, especially if because it's a game that we're not only like we've not only played many times before, but we're also getting a remastered version of it that comes out that is coming out or came out. I don't know. Time is a myth for me right now. The fact that we're getting a remastered version of Zero Dawn, and we've technically already had a remastered version, but it was for like anyway, it was the collector's edition. That was what it was. But I think you see my point. It's like we've kind of played this game over and over again. It's not anything really new other than just little funny little twists of the Lego humor inserted in. Personally, I think it's just funny just to hear the same voice actors kind of do a kid-like version of their characters, which is pretty cool. It's pretty funny. I mean, Ashley Birch is just like so seamlessly. Excuse me. Sorry. I just had breakfast before and something kind of went down my throat and it's kind of just annoying me. I think, I mean, Ashley Birch is just so perfect at being able to switch between serious, like kind of Aloy to kid-like friendly, like funny Aloy. Because I mean, if you know her career, you know that she like that, like her kind of goofy kind of characters is what she is like has been known for. I mean, she's Tiny Tina, for crying out loud, in Borderlands. So you kind of have a little bit of like that Tiny Tina sort of mentality with Aloy, but it done in a kind of a serious tone with her original performance with Zero Dawn and Forbidden West. So I think it's just great. And also, actually, as a side note with that story, or kind of a side story to this, I've been personally kind of wondering how are they going to basically replace Lance Reddick, who plays Sylens in the game. They didn't announce an actor at the time that they mentioned it, but we actually do have confirmation. We actually this is coming from IGN. The LEGO Horizon Adventures recast late Lance Reddick with Star Trek actor Tim Russ. This is by Wesley Yunpool on IGN. Star Trek actor Tim Russ plays Sylens in LEGO Horizon Adventures. IGN can confirm. Russ, who famously plays Tuvok in Star Trek Voyager, assumes the role of Sylens with Horizon developer Guerrilla Games, recast the character following the death of Lance Reddick in March 2023. Sylens is the duo protagonist of Horizon Zero Dawn and returning a character in its sequel. He allies with the protagonist Aloy to discover the truth behind the machines and the fate of the old ones. IGN's LEGO Horizon Adventures Review returned a 7 out of 10. We already said. So there actually is a clip of they call it. There's a DJ Sylens clip. It makes sense when you when you watch it. But you actually get to hear him in this clip that the IGN has put out. But it'll be linked into the article that I'll put into the show notes. Russ played the Jataka. I don't know how to pronounce that. Jatakas in 2022's Horizon Forbidden West, so has a history with Guerrilla's action adventure series. Let's see. Recasting perhaps suggests Russ will play Sylens in future Horizon games, though nothing has been confirmed on this front yet. Guerrilla's working on a live-action Horizon, on a live service Horizon online multiplayer game with Horizon 3 potentially a ways off. Horizon Zero Dawn Remaster came out at the end of October. Okay, so it did come out in October. Okay. Oh, this is kind of a statement from, I guess, the series world artist, Lucas Bolt. Lance Reddick tragically passed away in 2023, and he is deeply missed within Guerrilla and our community. He wonderfully portrayed the essential character of Sylens in Horizon Zero Dawn and Forbidden West. The character of Sylens does appear in LEGO Horizon Adventures, and we'll introduce this new actor at a later date, which we know is Tim Russ. Hearing the voices of the original actors, including Ashley Birch as Aloy, J.B. Blanc as Rost, John McMillan as Varl, and John Hopkins as Erend, has really brought back the tone of camaraderie found in the original game. Love that. I'm a big fan of Tim Russ. I'm most of it just because of Star Trek, but I like that. It was funny. I actually watched this clip first before I read this article, and I was like trying to, because I was really curious to see like who actually played him. I thought maybe Keith David, because he replaced Lance in Destiny, and he basically has a pretty good pedigree, or at least a good reputation with PlayStation. But it looks like that they went with Tim Russ. I was like, oh, okay, that's cool. I like that. And actually, I heard his voice. And I'm like, that sounds like Tim Russ. That sounds a bit like Tuvok. And I was like, that can't be right. And then I can listen to it a bit more. I'm like, that's definitely Tim Russ. And then I go to this article and it says that, yeah, that's Tim Russ. I'm like, that's awesome. That's very cool. Yeah, love it. All right, next story. This one I've been very curious about. If you've heard me talk about in the show before, you've heard me talk about a lot about video game preservation, and we need to be able to preserve our games because a lot of games are being lost to time, and when there's no way to be able to purchase them or download them illegally, we're kind of losing a lot of our history when it comes to video games. And this is coming from Tom Ivan at VGC. GOG Preservation Program aims to keep old games playable on modern PCs. 100 classic games from its catalog are being re-released today with updated or quality-tested builds, and GOG is committed to using its own resources to maintain their compatibility with modern PCs. On the GOG store, games included in the preservation program are identified with a dedicated stamp, and players can see how GOG has worked to update each title by looking at its preservation log. The first compatibility certified games include entries in the Resident Evil, Warcraft, Dragon Age, Fallout, System Shock, Diablo, Heroes of Might, and Magic Dungeon Heroes of Might and Magic, Dungeon Keeper, The Witcher, and Monkey Island franchises. GOG says it plans to keep adding more games to the preservation program over time. It also shared a statistic from the Video Game History Foundation, which claims that 87% of games created before 2010 are inaccessible today. This is the stat that I've been forgetting about the exact statistics, but this is what kind of set me off of like, yeah, we need to present or preserve our games. Is that 87% games created before 2010 are inaccessible. That's way too much. It was just also recently announced the PC version of the upcoming remaster Croc Legend of the Gobos will be exclusive to GOG. The game is currently available to wishlist on the store page and is set for release later this year. Let's see what the preservation program has right now, because here's the thing. I actually purchased a game, not necessarily within this preservation program, but I actually purchased a game that I was afraid I was going to be lost to time, which was Star Trek Voyager Elite Force. Going back to Star Trek again, I actually bought that and Elite Force 2 off of GOG, and it's because they've been bringing back these kind of older games, which I absolutely love. Okay, so let's take a look. Let's take a look at the games here. So they've got the original Diablo plus Hellfire, Resident Evil bundle. Oh, here we go. Here's the list. Here's the list. Okay, so we got Dungeon Keeper 2, Crusader No Remorse, Wing Commander 3, Sam and Max Hit the Road, Anno 1404, Middle Earth Shadow of Mordor Game of the Year Edition. Oh wow, okay, and it's like for $20. I may need to get that. Indiana Jones and the Fate of Atlantis. Oh wow. Elder Scrolls Morrowind. Oh, Elder Scrolls 3 Morrowind. Legacy of Kain Defiance. Empire Earth 2. A Curse of Monkey Island. We got Leisure Suit Larry. Oh, Descent. Oh my God. Do they have Descent 2? Oh, I don't see Descent 2. Oh man, I remember playing Descent in high school. That was, I think, one of my very first PC games, like PC, like first person sort of shooter games ish. I don't know. It wasn't really, yeah, it was more a space flying game, but it's like $10. Oh my God. I remember, like, actually, no, I think this is the first time I played a multiplayer LAN party, was in high school with Descent, but it was mostly Descent 2. Oh wow, they got Descent in here. That's so cool. They got original Warcraft, Orcs and Humans. Is that what it is? Yeah, Orcs and Humans. Starfight, Mad Max. Oh, that's great. I love that. That's the more recent one. Lego The Hobbit. Return to Mysterious Island 2. Sid Meier's Alpha Centauri. Wait, what is that? Constructor Classic 1997. I don't know that one. Riven. Other Scores 2. Daggerfall. Carmageddon. I love that. Max Pack. Earthworm Jim. Oh, I love this. Then the Resident Evil bundle. But that is so dang cool. What else have they got in here? Man, there's some pretty good ones. They got Fallout New Vegas, which we've seen, like they've kind of recently re-released. Roller Coaster Tycoon, the Triple Thrill Pack. I need to jump back into Roller Coaster Tycoon. That was like my favorite as a kid, or as a teenager technically. Fallout, the original game. They've also got Resident Evil 3, but they've kind of already put these up before. They've got Dragon Age Origins, the original Roller Coaster Tycoon, the deluxe edition. And they've got Witcher 2, which was kind of makes sense because it is GOG, it is CD Projekt Red. SimCity 3000 Unlimited. I remember playing that back in the day. Blade Runner. There's some really good games in this. You got Original Myst. You have Vampire the Masquerade Bloodlines. XCOM. You got Pirates. Is that Sid Meier's Pirates? I don't know. Anyway, that's awesome. Love that. I love that basically like that GOG is doing this because we definitely need more preservation in our games, and there's some pretty good gems in there that I definitely recommend. All right, and then last story of the day. Xbox is building a handheld, but it's likely years away, says boss, which is Phil Spencer. This is coming from Andy Robinson at VGC. Microsoft gaming CEO has repeatedly hinted that it could create its own Steam Deck style Xbox device. And in a new interview with Bloomberg, the exec said that the expectation is that we would do something in the category. Microsoft is working on prototypes and considering what it might do. Spencer confirmed, and he's asked his hardware team to analyze the market and develop its vision based on what it learns. Any device is a few years out, he said. In the near term, Xbox will focus on making its app work better on existing portable devices and partnering with hardware manufacturers to make sure that the products sync, he added. Longer term, I love us building devices, Spencer said, and I think our team could do some real innovative work, but we want to be informed by learning and what's happening now. In March, Windows Central claimed Microsoft was working on a fully native Xbox handheld prototypes, and in Polygon interview published a few days later, Microsoft gaming CEO Spencer discussed what he'd like to see in a potential Xbox handheld. The executive returned to the subject during an IGN interview following the summer's Xbox Game Showcase, in which he dropped his biggest hint yet that a handheld could be in the works. When it was put to Spencer that Xbox has been building its business around the strategy of being where the players are, be that on PC or more recently on other console platforms, he said, so we should have a handheld. I think we should have a handheld too. This is actually something that I've been wanting for a while. I mean, you know, I love me some handhelds. This is actually kind of something that I've been very curious to see whether or not we're going to be able to see within the next year or so. It looks like that it probably is going to be years away, which is sad. Because what I would really want in a Xbox handheld is basically a few things. Being able, like, it's not a streaming device. It has to be download. You have to download games. That's what I want. I want to be able to download games so I can play them offline. And that way, because the streaming devices, like, you need good Wi-Fi. You need good like internet to begin with. And if you don't have that, basically the whole thing for me is I like taking video games on the go. I am not one to basically like, yes, I can be able to play in the living room, like in the next room to me, which is fine, and I can play it, but and I generally have done that in the past. But to me, I like the ability to be able to just, if I need to, pick up and go, and I can pick up exactly where I left off without having to connect to Wi-Fi. A second thing I want from Xbox Handheld is I want a native Xbox experience. I don't want a Windows experience. I don't want a Windows 11 base with an Xbox sort of app on it. However, there's a caveat to that. I'll get into in a second. But I want the Xbox interface. I want basically the Xbox Home OS that is in the Series X and S, because it is optimized for it. It is optimized for the series for console. I feel like that is a much better experience. Now, granted, if it's a little bit more kind of like updated to more a handheld screen that makes it a little bit bigger font size and stuff, and a little bit of a bigger interface, then I'd be okay with that. But I would just want like a proper Xbox experience. Basically, I just want it to, like, if I'm playing on Xbox Series, my Series X here at home, and I'm okay, now I got to go travel. I grab my Xbox Handheld, and I could literally pick up where I left off, and it's a seamless experience. With that being said, here's the caveat: if they do decide to go with Windows 11, we need a proper Windows 11 mobile version, because Windows 11 is not great for mobile right now. I've tried it on the ROG Ally. It has its issues. It's not optimized for mobile use. It is pretty much a full version of Windows 11. That being said, though, the fact that I can be able to also download Steam games and GOG games, I can download Epic Games Store, Ubisoft, all that. If Xbox is looking to be able to kind of expand out its kind of offerings, and if they do decide to, you can not only be able to play Xbox games, but you can also play all these other platforms too. That would be a good move. I don't see them doing that, because I think that would kind of set them it basically would not prioritize Xbox titles and Xbox Game Pass, which is something that is that, like, if they kind of open up to everything right now, it is going against what their current sort of marketing strategy, or what their current strategy is, which is focusing on Game Pass, focusing on the games that they have in their library, and in their studios, and on Series X. And if they do put that on the handheld, then that's where I see them going with this. Basically being able to access Game Pass on the go, blah, 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 blah. Xbox Play Anywhere. If they do decide to be able to, in the future, enable you to be able to play Steam games, whether Steam Remote Link on Xbox or on Epic Games Store, blah, 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 then that strategy has now changed, and that's where I would see them opening up to potentially a Windows 11 version of an Xbox handheld. That's kind of where I see from that. And then I guess thirdly for the Xbox handheld that I want is obviously good battery life. I want a decent battery. And it's like that, something that is way better than what we currently have. We have basically max about 2 hours, maybe 2.5 if you're kind of stretching the battery a little bit. But I think that is something that we need that's something that needs to be improved within the handheld market right now. You need better battery life. And then lastly, has to be affordable. We don't need the $1,000 ROG Ally price. We need a couple $100. That's how much it needs to cost. It needs to cost roughly about, if not cheaper than the Series X right now. If it's coming in at around like a Series S price, now we're talking. That's something that it definitely is revolutionary, and will basically open up the market to a lot more players. I think it would definitely be as disruptive as when the Meta Quest came out for VR. The fact that it was wireless, it was cheaper than every other headset that was out there. It basically became the dominant VR headset today. I think Xbox has an opportunity that they can be able to undercut pretty much every handheld that's out there, including the Steam Deck. If it could be competitive with price, and looking at maybe like a $299 price tag, that would definitely set it apart. That would be a disruptor. That would put Xbox and if you're thinking about the handheld market, that would definitely compete with Steam Deck 100%. So that's the things I would want in an Xbox handheld. So the question I have to you: what would you want in an Xbox handheld? I'm talking just I'm not I don't want to necessarily hear about, the place. What about PlayStation? What about Nintendo? Whatever. If you're a fan of Xbox, what would you like in an Xbox handheld? Is it any different than what I would like? Are there any things that you would love to be able to see that you haven't seen in the handheld market before, or you've seen in other handhelds that you would love to be able to see it on Xbox handheld? I would really be curious to know what your thoughts are on that. Cool. All right, that is where I'm going to leave today's episode. I'm tired. I need to get started for the day. It's currently 11:30 as I'm recording this, and I definitely need to get started. I got a whole bunch of emails and stuff to be able to take care of, and I need to jump in some games because I haven't played any games in like a couple weeks. Actually, almost a month now. Oh, almost over a month. I've barely played any games, so I need to jump into that. All right. That is it for me. Thank you so much for watching and or listening. If you want to be able to get the audio version of this podcast, you can go to patreon.com/SteveSaylor, and you can be able to check it out there. If you want to become a paid member, you can be able to get this exclusively on any podcast platform. But if you like this video, give it a thumbs up. Please subscribe to this channel. I really, really appreciate it. Yeah, that's it. Take care. Have yourself a great day, and I will see you all tomorrow. Bye-bye.